You've done this for 20 years now in this region of the world.
Yeah.
Have you noticed a change from your experience of observing the storms? Have they gotten stronger, more frequent, or is it just kind of following a certain pattern every year?
It's the world's climate is in a bit of a mess right now. How exactly that is going to affect typhoons, tropical cyclones, we don't really know yet. There are certain aspects which we are clear on. Basically the more energy that's locked up into the oceans, the warmer they get, the more energy that provides to these storms, so they can get stronger. It doesn't necessarily mean we're going to see more of them. Overall typhoon numbers are actually on the decline over the last 20 years. So since I've been chasing, the Western Pacific has been on a suppressed phase. And this kind of goes in cycles, very complex scientific reasons behind it all, which I don't quite fully understand. But one of the main things that scientists, and even I am noticing for sure, is incidents of rapid intensification, which is where you'll get a regular looking tropical storm or a minimal level typhoon, and just the pace at which it can transform into a monster, category 5, super typhoon, whatever. They're blowing up a lot quicker. And I kind of noticing that as well, even in the 20 years I've been doing this, which isn't that long a period, to get a real true sense of what's happening. But, I'm noticing these storms are blowing up very quickly, and it's, why exactly? I don't fully understand, but it's happening.
This year they said, I believe it's a sort of super El Nino year, with like the water currents somehow changing across the ocean, so being warmer. I'm not sure about the details. Is that going to have an effect on this year's typhoon season, which is just a couple of months away?
So it's very complex. Last year we saw El Nino. So that is where we have a large stretch of warm ocean waters off the coast of South America stretching through to the Central Pacific. Normally what that does is turbocharges typhoon season. It creates atmospheric conditions where the storms can thrive. They form in great numbers. Most of them stay out to sea, but plenty of them go on to hit land. So I was expecting a really busy year last year, but for whatever reason, we saw very few storms. So whether this is a weird product of climate change or what, I don't understand. But now it looks like the system is flipping to a La Nina, which is the opposite, where you get cooler waters stretching off the coast of South America into the Central Pacific. And what that usually does is creates fewer typhoons. The conditions aren't quite so good for them to form, and the storms are weaker. So right now, if I had to make a bet, I would bet that it's going to be a quieter typhoon season. But given the weirdness that happened last year, who knows? The best thing you can do is just prepare for typhoons. If you live in typhoon country, just make sure you've got your batteries charged and your water supply and everything. You're keeping an eye on the weather forecast. Japan is so well geared up for a multitude of different disasters. I think typhoons are a kind of people. If you're prepared for an earthquake, you're probably well prepared for a typhoon as well. So